Hello everybody, so today I'm going to be making this dressing gown. It is inspired by a lady by the name of Kate from the last Homely House YouTube channel. I'll put a link to her video in the description box below. It is by no means the same as hers, but it is inspired by hers. So I hope you enjoy this craft along. I've used fabric and ribbon from BB Craft. I'll have links to those items in the description box below. So what I've done here is I've just laid the fabric out. I've cut one piece in half and put one there and one over here. So basically it takes 2.5 of the squares of fabric to do the front of the dressing gown and the back as well. I've folded, these are still intact, these pieces. I took one from each packet. They're going to be my sleeves. I've just left them and folded them over just to give me an idea. What I'm going to do is stitch this and this piece, so I have a long strip, and do the same on that side. So I have 2 long strips, and then I can, cut around for the sleeves and things like that. So that will be what I do first, and then I'll flip it over and do exactly the same for the back. The back will pretty much be the same as the front, but I'll probably put a tuck in the back. You can't see the neckline because this fabric is much taller. It kind of goes up where the arms are there, but I may just flip that fabric over so it continues to the back as well. As I said, so it's not too wide across the back. I will more than likely put a pleat in the neckline at the back. Maybe, we'll see. We'll see how it fits. It's fairly straightforward. So I'm going to go and stitch that piece together and stitch that piece together, and then cut the shape of the arms out. To get that shape, all I'm going to do is cut my old dressing gown up and use that as a pattern, because it's threadbare now and I need a new one, and so I pretty much have to get this done in a day so I've got a dressing gown again. I do have another one, but it's a heavier one and I don't like wearing it. So, yeah, and then I'll have to cut these sleeve pieces to shape. I'll show you all those shapes once I've cut them out. And I've just got this laid across my bed because it's the largest surface I've got to, there's the pillows up there, so the largest surface I've got to sort of spread things out. The cat keeps running across it as well, which makes it a little, oh, there we go, right on cue. Oh my goodness, Fifi. Okay, so I've stitched all the patches together, and they were like 2 just straight up and down pieces, but here I've started shaping the neck and the armholes. I cut up my old dressing gown and used that as a guide. I cut along the seam line and then I sketched around it, but I left, a seam allowance. So you can see that's the front of the dressing gown and that's the back. And the same with the arm here. The front is different to the back because it's like a satin sleeve, but it's still kimono style. It's very loose. This is the piece that I cut out of here. What I did was I did one whole front side piece first, and then I flipped it so I could get the same over here. I hope that makes sense. So it's looking good so far, and I slightly shaped the sides, tapering it as well. And these are the sleeves. Now, the fabric wasn't quite long enough, wide enough, sorry, from here to here, for the sleeve. So the cat's been running across everything. What I've done, see how the sleeve only came that wide for the fabric. The piece that I cut out of here, because that curves up, I've used, and I'm going to attach to the side here. I've just put that there so I could show you, but like there's the triangle that came out of here. I'm putting it here. I'm stitching it together, and then I'll put my pattern piece back on top of it. It's just a little bit short, about that much short on either side. So basically it will come up like that and across like that, just so it fits in the armhole over there neatly without it, you know, looking too patched up. Now, my original dressing gown had some pockets in the side. They weren't on the front. I rarely use pockets. I'm really not a pocket person. I'm still debating if I should just slip some in just for the convenience, because I'm so used to them being there that I may want to use them once in a blue moon, and they're not there. And they're not hard, and I only ever used one pocket, but for balance I probably put two, and they were set in the side seam. They weren't on the front. So if I put pockets in, I'll just cut the old pockets off the old dressing gown and use that as my template, and I'll sew them in to the side seam before I stitch it up. So I'm going to go and stitch these little pieces onto the sleeve pieces and then cut it to the right shape, and I'm going to sew it all together and overlock it all, and then I'll just have to decide then what I'm going to do for the cuff and for the neckline. I'll be back when that's done. I just thought I would show you, this is the sleeve pattern. I think just in case you don't understand exactly what I was saying, that's where the original fabric came to there. So I've added these little pieces, and because that's going to be under the arm, it won't really be that noticeable. There's the sleeve, see, there and there. And so that gave me enough fabric for the sleeves. Now I'm going to go and sew it all together. Okay, oh my goodness. Keep moving, Vivi, keep moving. I'm just putting the sleeves on. Oh my goodness. You can see here where I patched the corner, and what I did was I overlocked it once I stitched it and cut it to shape, and then I top stitched it just to keep it nice and flat. We have a little girl here helping. And now I'm putting the right sides together on the sleeve. When you do the sleeves, you have to ease them in, even though it's not a fitted sleeve. You still have to ease it in somewhat. The back of the sleeve will always have more fabric than the front of the sleeve. So if you fold your sleeve in half, I'll show you. If I were to fold my sleeve in half like that. Okay, sorry about that. I have a kitten here helping me. Okay, when you fold your sleeve in half, see how you get one that's slightly bigger than the other? That is the side that will go on the back of the garment. So when I open this up, I know that this side over here goes to the back of my garment. Right sides together. Oh no. I'll be back. Okay, so I have clipped them all together, and as you can see, The sleeve has more fabric than the garment part, the body part, and that's where the ease comes in, and it's quite easy. You just work it in as you stitch it around. It just allows for more movement of your shoulders and things like that. You're a good girl. So that is the seam, the sleeve stitched in. This is the shoulder seam coming over to the back of the neck here. I have overlocked it inside and top stitched it as well. You can see that there. And so now that's the end of this sleeve there, comes out under the arm, and I have added pockets. I've used the dotted fabric from BB Craft for the pockets because they won't be seen, but they'll be a bit of a novelty for me. I know they're there. And so I need to stitch from the cuff of the sleeve up under the arm, down the side seam here with both sides together, both right sides together. This is the side seam. Come down here and then stitch around like that, back up, and then continue down my side seam. So I need to get doing that, and then I'll show you what that looks like. So I've stitched all the sleeve in now, and it seemed to fit quite nicely. We're coming down down the side seam. I have my pocket stitched in there. It did very well in there, and so I'll go ahead and do the other side now, and give some thought to what I'm going to do around the collar and down the front. With the sleeves here, I'm just going to give them a double fold. That's all I'm going to do. Nothing fancy, but around the collar and down the front, I'm still not quite sure. So I'm up to doing the neckline of it now, and I've cut some fabric out to act like an interfacing. I'm using the giraffe fabric, and it's not one of my favorites, but what I'm doing is, that's the wrong side of the giraffe print, and I can cope with that. Rather than waste the fabric, I'll use it like that. So this one will fold over, and you'll see that. I don't know if it will be noticeable. Well, actually, it won't be too bad, but the thing is, what I'm going to do, and I know this might, you'll just let me show you. So from BB Craft also, I got this beautiful braided trim, and at first I didn't think it was going to work, but the more I look at the dressing gown, it has the dark sleeves. The rest of it is fairly light, and it needs something to balance it out. So what I'm going to do on this side, after I've put that interfacing part on, is I'm going to stitch the braid, and I think it will look fine. I am surprised, but I think with having the darker sleeves, see, if I had more of that fabric, I would have done it in that fabric, but I don't. But I think this will probably work. Can you see it against the sleeves? I mean, it's only a dressing gown, but still, I want it to look fairly decent. So if I don't make the interfacing any wider than that, perhaps, or I could kind of bring it over a little, perhaps like that. you won't see the interfacing fabric so much coming through. So what I'm going to do now, I've already hemmed the sleeves and everything, and I've overlocked the hem, but I haven't hemmed it yet because I thought I would do this part first. I am going to stitch all of this all the way around the neckline and down the front, and then stitch this braid onto the top, and I'll come back and show you what that looks like. I might not do around the back of the neck because there's a curve there and it may not work there, but I can certainly do it down the front. So I'll be back shortly. Alright, I'm done. This is the finished dressing gown, or I think, what do they call these in different places? Oh my, I'll put it on the screen. I have no idea. I've always just called them a dressing gown. So it's all finished. That is the front, like that. I'll just take you down to see, oops, that braid on the front there. I think it turned out very nicely. I did leave a tiny border. I like the way that is. It sits very nicely, and I just did it up to the shoulder seams on the front. I didn't go around the back of it. I thought that might be a bit difficult with it being on a curve. I like the way it looks with the sleeves as well. I think it really did need a darker colour somewhere on it. I'll just stop the camera now and turn it over and show you the back. Alright, so that's the back. I put a strip right across the bottom because I kind of miscalculated with the length a little bit, and even then I had to patch it again, but that's okay because it's all patched anyway, so it makes no difference. I have not put a belt with it, and that is simply because I don't wear them. I never wore the belt with my last dressing gown. I think another word for it is house coat or robe, people call it. I never wear it. It just flies open, sort of flowing as I walk. I love that feeling. It's like walking in a field of flowers or something. I just have it open all the time. We live in a hot climate, so there's no reason for me to have it closed. And in winter, I don't, I would wear something heavier in winter anyway. I've used all the fabrics from Baby Craft, apart from this one here. I did have to use another fabric, and it's just 2 pieces on the front. And that was because my personal preference, like the polka dot fabric in the pack, looks cute in the pockets and around the back of the neck inside, but I didn't want it on the front. That's just, it's a bit too much for me. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what my husband thinks about it, because he's so used to just seeing me in a pale blue pinstripe dressing gown. There aren't many scraps from the 2 packs. Let me just show you what was left. And so here's what was left. I have 2 full pieces of the bright yellow. Not using that. I have almost a full piece of the polka dot fabric. There would have been a full piece, but I cut the neck piece out for the lining of that one, and the pockets were on the other one. Little tiny bit of that one left, which is really pretty, so I can use that in my slow stitching. And not a great deal of the giraffe left, because I did all the interfacing with the giraffe fabric that way, and it kind of looks all right. Look, let me just show you here. what it looks like as the interfacing. Not bad at all. And you don't even notice it from that side either. So I hope you've enjoyed the craft along today. I know it's not a full tutorial. I don't have the setup for clothing, sewing, for full tutorials. Like even just leaning over my bed and cutting things out, oh, it hurts my back. But I do love it. I really do enjoy sewing. So all the fabrics from BB Craft and the beautiful braided trim that I put around, down the front of it. So I will put links to those 2 items that I used in the description box below. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Take care, everybody. Bye.